All right, let's dive in. There's this single bill that's about to challenge the absolutely booming industry of American sports betting. Today, we're going to explain the legislation that could completely change how America bets.
You know the feeling, right? If you've watched pretty much any game recently, you've definitely felt it. That constant barrage of ads for no-sweat bets and all these special offers. It's like sports have turned into a 24/7 marketplace.
Well, let me tell you, you're not imagining things. This explosion of advertising in mobile betting has finally caught the attention of lawmakers in Washington, and believe me, they are proposing some major changes.
So, to really get why this is happening now, we gotta look back at how we even got here. It's been a massive betting boom, a gold rush really, but it's one that's starting to raise some pretty serious concerns.
I mean, just look at how fast this all changed. Before 2018, sports betting was basically locked down, legal almost nowhere except Nevada. But then, after a huge Supreme Court ruling, the whole map just completely flipped. Now it's a massive industry that's pretty much impossible to ignore.
Yeah, let that sink in for a second. An entire industry that was mostly illegal just a handful of years ago is now this dominant force in American sports culture. And that super rapid transformation, that's at the very heart of this entire debate.
You know, supporters of these new regulations are calling this a big tobacco moment. And that's a really powerful analogy, right? Because it completely reframes the whole debate. The idea is to treat sports betting not just as fun and games, but as a potential public health issue that demands a strong federal response.
Okay, so what is this proposed response? Well, it's a federal bill, and it's called the Safe Bet Act.
So the bill, which is sponsored by Senator Blumenthal and Representative Tonko, has one really crucial goal: to replace this messy patchwork of state-by-state rules with a single, strict federal rulebook for the entire country.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What would these new federal rules actually do?
The bill really hones in on 5 key areas. You've got advertising, how you can deposit your money, the kind of tech they can use, college sports, and finally, some brand new national oversight. First up, advertising. The bill proposes a major crackdown. We're talking a broadcast blackout on all sports betting ads from the morning until late at night. So that constant stream of ads you see during games, poof, gone. Next, let's talk about how you fund your account. The bill would straight up prohibit using a credit card. From now on, you could only deposit money with a debit card or a direct bank transfer. It also brings in new deposit limits, a maximum of 5 deposits into your account within any 24-hour window. The goal here is pretty clear: to stop that cycle of just repeatedly reloading your account during a single game. The bill also takes a serious aim at technology. It would ban sportsbooks from using AI to send you all those personalized promotions. And it would also prohibit micro-bets. You know, those super rapid-fire wagers on things like the outcome of the very next play in a football game. And finally, for college sports, the bill creates one single rule for the whole country: no more prop bets. Those are the bets on individual student-athlete performances. It wouldn't matter what state you're in, they'd be gone. So that's the proposal. It's pretty sweeping, but does it actually have a shot at becoming law? Well, this is where the big fight really begins. So on one side, you have supporters pointing to public health data and polls showing that, hey, people actually want more controls. But on the other side, you've got opponents raising these powerful arguments about states' rights, and they're backed by some intense lobbying from this billion-dollar industry and, a general pushback against Washington overreach. And the opposition has some very specific legal objections too. For example, gaming attorney Jeff Ifrah argues that forcing states to register with the federal government is, in his words, simply unconstitutional. Then there's the fear of what might happen if you push too hard. Industry consultant Brendan Bussman warns that making the legal market too restrictive could just push bettors toward unregulated and, frankly, illegal offshore websites. So with all this back and forth, what's the most likely outcome here? Let's take a look at the road ahead. Here's the thing. Even if this specific bill doesn't pass, it's already changing the game in 3 huge ways. First, it's forcing a national debate. Second, its ideas, things like ad bans and deposit limits, they're going to influence future rules at the state level. And maybe most importantly, it's sending a really clear signal to the industry that an era of stricter oversight is coming. And that right there, that is the key takeaway. This bill is a massive warning shot. Whether regulation ends up coming from the federal government or from the states themselves, the direction is crystal clear. The days of light regulation, well, they seem to be numbered. Which, of course, leaves us with the big question. Is the industry's explosive, kind of Wild West era finally coming to a close? If this bill is any sign at all, the answer is a pretty firm yes.